First off, I would like to say that it is on behalf of myself, Father Angelo, Father Ken, Deacon Rusty, and our parish staff, that we would like to wish you and your families a merry, safe, and healthy Christmas. Our prayer for you during this Christmas season is that you would stay safe and healthy, that your Christmas is merry. But more importantly, as you celebrate the birth of Jesus this Christmas, that you would do more than just celebrate, that you will have an experience with Christ this Christmas, that the Lord would touch your hearts in a very personal way this Christmas. That is not the way it is supposed to be. Over the past several months, you probably echoed this phrase at least one time. That is not me. It's supposed to be. If you're like me, you probably echoed this phrase, that is not the way it's supposed to be. So many times, you don't know how many times you use this phrase. Why can't things just go back to the way they're supposed to be? That is not the way it was supposed to be. Beginning with the closing of restaurants, bars, schools, businesses, churches, and so many other places, to events being canceled, perhaps still happening but virtually. Being told that we need to socially distance ourselves from each other, particularly those that we do not live in the same household with. We've been told that we need to wear these masks when we're not around those that we live with. Even with Christmas this year, we've been told that we're not to gather in large groups of people. We have been advised not to travel, to be with family and to be with friends that we're close to this year. None of this is the way it is supposed to be. That is not the way it was supposed to be. I said this phrase so many times over the past few months. That is not the way it's supposed to be. I've heard this phrase so many times over these last few months. At times I've had to rationalize and work with and negotiate with folks complaining that it's not the way it's supposed to be. We've said it so many times that I hear that is not the way it's supposed to be. Come even from the stable at Bethlehem. A decree went out from Caesar Augustus. The whole world should be enrolled. That is not the way it's supposed to be. Mary is found to be with child before Mary and Joseph lived together. That is not the way it's supposed to be. Mary is soon to give birth to her child. And Mary and Joseph travel to Bethlehem to be enrolled. Now, I'm not an expert, and I'm not a parent. I did grow up the oldest of siblings, so I do know a little bit about expecting children. And I believe the advice is that mothers should be not traveling far when they're expecting, especially when the time to give birth is very near. Yet they travel anyhow. And they were not traveling by car or plane, but they travel on the back of a donkey. I don't know about you, but I don't think that's the way it's supposed to be. Arrive in Bethlehem and look for a place to stay. The inn is full. So they go to stay in a cave or a barn. The time comes for Mary's baby to be born. Jesus is born in a stable. I don't think that is the way it was supposed to be. Fast forward 33 years. The king that was born in the stable dies a traitor's death on the cross. That is not the way it was supposed to be. That is not the way it's supposed to be. Seems to be the theme. But isn't this why God became human? Isn't this why Jesus was born? To save us from the way things are not supposed to be. For when the things are not the way they're supposed to be, God does God's greatest work. Our God saves us in these moments. Even in the middle of this pandemic, during this time of things not being the way they're supposed to be, that I believe and know that our God is still working, that our God is still doing God's greatest work right now. Often saving us and working our lives in ways that we do not always recognize. Oftentimes working our lives in ways that seem to be simple and very ordinary. Like being born to us as a child, or being given to us in bread and wine in his body and blood. As we celebrate the birth of Jesus during this Christmas season, this time of things not being the way they are supposed to be, may our eyes be open. May our eyes be open to seeing how our God is at work in our lives. Our God And may our eyes be open to see how our God is saving us.